I'm Father Ben at St. Ambrose Catholic Community, and this is Sticky Notes from God, where we encounter God in our everyday, ordinary, and where He speaks to us and gives us the opportunity to reflect and grow. And we are at Sticky Note 5. We're in the 5th week of this, and we're so close to Lent being done, so close to that great reality, the great feast of Easter, which gives us so much hope. But before that though, Jesus wants to say to me, Jesus wants to say to you, do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. And so what is troubling you? What is troubling you? You know, we heard back in sticky note number 2, God says, fear not, for I am with you. Like, don't let fear dominate your life. Let my presence, which is greater than anything, come in and be with you to help you keep moving forward. And what's so amazing is God again and again wants to keep saying to us in one way or another, don't be afraid. Do not let your hearts be troubled. And sometimes what can happen in our life is we can lose our peace. You and I, we can be shaken. All of a sudden what we thought was certain doesn't seem certain anymore. All of a sudden the walls seem to be a little bit tighter. All of a sudden the vision that we had becomes a little bit more narrow. And our hearts can become heavy and our hearts can become troubled. And Jesus says, do not let your hearts be troubled. And what's so amazing is Jesus is saying this to the apostles like the day before He's going to be crucified. The day before, people are not going to receive Him, not going to love Him. They're going to spit on Him. They're going to crown Him with thorns. They're going to pound nails into His body. They're going to mock Him. The people that He gathered nearby to bring to Himself, they're going to flee. And yet, they're not the ones telling Jesus, don't let your hearts be troubled. Jesus is the one telling them, don't let your hearts be troubled. So we could ask Jesus, where do you get your peace? I mean, if you can have so much peace in the face of so much suffering, where do you get your peace? Because that's where I want to be. And that's what He says. That's what He invites us to. He says, believe in God, believe in the Father, believe also in me. Because faith actually unites us to God. Faith unites us to the reality that we believe in. We're not just saying words. There's actually contact. So here we are. We're so close. And if we're honest, sometimes we can be experiencing so much hardship in life that our hearts can be troubled. One of the reasons why sometimes our hearts can be troubled is because we don't accept our circumstances, which can be so hard for us to do. I know in my own life, as my health has deteriorated over this past year, and it's kind of gone up and down, there have been times where it's just been so hard for me to just accept, okay, this is where I am. This is what I'm going through. But sometimes it's like I'm in rebellion against my circumstances. I'm in rebellion against where I am. And that even makes it even worse suffering. Jesus, when He's on the cross, He knows exactly where He's supposed to be, which is so mysterious. You never get the sense that Jesus' anguish takes Him away from His relationship with the Father. Here He is, on the cross, still entrusting Himself to the Father. But before He does that, He wants to give us comfort. He wants to console us and say, don't let your hearts be troubled. My heart is a refuge for you, and you can come and have the same peace, a peace which the world can't give and which the world can't take away. Here we are, so close to Easter. But before we get there, we journey through the cross. And before we get to the cross, Jesus says to you, He says to me, Do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me.